just print the silly little saluting man aimless my base. The content, which contains a fair amount of waffling and then hopefully some useful bits as well. So here we are. My base, as you can see, it's had the upgrade of the game, which is why my base is now particularly pretty to look at, which is good because it was looking a bit shabby and a bit scruffy around the edges, and now it's all sort of polished and shiny. And yeah, no, it looks lots more effective. I'm not sure why this little wavy man here is just wandering aimlessly across the grass. That seems a little bit unnecessary when he's literally right by a footpath. But never mind, let's not dwell on that. Um, so this is kind of a beginner's guide again. So there will be some players who will look at this and go, I know all that already, which is fine. But this is Dell players who are sort of fairly new to the game, and this one is focusing on raids and raiding. So raiding is quite an important aspect of the game, which is what we will come to in a second, the PvP, player versus player aspect of it. The main thing is really filling up your hero's chest, which if you look under my amazing funky avatar, the middle chest there is heroes you have to kill. I'm just going to click on it now. It says defeat heroes in raids to win various rewards. Rewards are based upon your current raid tier, and mine is diamond. So what are raids? What are raid tiers? Blah, 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 blah. So we click on raids and you get a picture. This is my team. So you've got the leaderboards are up at the top. So that's dependent on how many trophies you have, and that affects the loot you get at the end. You can get good loot in any stage, but you get more just spins of the dice, or spins of the dice, that's the word. Rolls of the dice the higher the stage you are. So you get better loot, generally speaking, if you're in a higher board, in a higher category. So at the moment I'm in diamond, which is 2,000 plus up to 2,250, which takes you up to challenger. You've also got platinum, gold, silver, bronze, and iron, which are the sort of lower ones down. So try and get as high up as you can. Generally, that's the way to do it. Stay in there. You want to have a fairly strong defense team. Your defense team wants, I would say, well, I normally go with a mixture of colors. The main thing is you want to choose a solid tank. My tank is Rana. So Rana, as you can see, is the one in the middle. We'll talk about tanks a bit more in a second. A good hero, good healing, good riposting. She's been nerfed, so she's not quite as powerful as she was, but she's still pretty useful. Next to her, I have got Flint, who she keeps alive, and Flint also riposts people. It doesn't mean I'm kind of doubling up on a special skill there. I could spread them out a bit more, but because what do we call it? Purple and yellow are the opposite colours. If players are strong against Rana, they will be weak against Flint, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute as well. So sometimes having sort of flanked by heroes who are the opposite colour to your tank, the guy in the middle can work really well. So you could put a yellow either side of them, and hopefully somebody I'm fighting will have done something similar, and we'll see in a minute. I've got mainly my sort of strongest heroes up there. There are some other heroes coming up through my ranks as I'm training. I haven't finished off all these guys, obviously, because Flint's at 60, Thrasher is at 47. So, they're not all fully there yet, but they'll get there in time, So I'm working my way through that. That basically affects how many trophies you lose when you aren't playing. So you want a fairly good defense team. Unless you want to lose trophies, of course, because sometimes you might just want to get through it really quickly and easily, or you might find you're losing all the time because everybody you're fighting is too powerful. So that's something you can do. Anyway, we click on Find Opponent, and an opponent will appear. Now, at the moment, let's see. So if I was to... There are different ways you can approach an opponent. So let's start off by just having a quick look at our opponent. They are Angry Bird, level 45, so they've been playing for more time than I have, or playing more experienced, levels requiring more experience. 2,207 trophies, global rank 139. So they are above me globally ranked, and they have more trophies than me. And that is reflected, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, it says in green, I can earn 36 trophies, or I can lose 25. How much you gain, how much you lose has nothing to do with the team power. So you'll see their team power is 3,303. Above Talia here is the team power, below where the trophies are. And the other bit is, whereas mine is 2,692. So I'm a lot weaker than them, but that's not what affects how many trophies I get. If I win, I get 11,000 food and 6,000 iron. And 3 recruits. The recruits are handy. The food and iron, well, you know, it can be handy if you're really short, but it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. That's not really why people do raids generally. A lot of the time you're filling your raid chest, which I mentioned earlier on. So we're going to start off with this team. We're going to go for a rainbow team. Now, a rainbow team is something you can try and use. Oh, hello. No, let's get off that. Thank you. A rainbow team is a team that is made up of one hero of every color. It is one way to play. So there are lots of different tactics you can try with raids. This isn't the one I would advocate. I'm just going to sort of show you what happens and we'll see how it goes. Because whichever one I go for, you can almost guarantee that things won't quite go the way I want them to. So I take my strongest hero of every color. So let me just double check. There we are. Yeah, there's Astrid. Yeah. So strongest hero of every color. This would be sort of your, you know, I don't know what you'd call it really. Your sort of this is the most powerful team I can field, and you can see that my team power is actually now higher than theirs, which is yeah, which could be a good thing. It could be bad. It may not make any difference. We'll see. So the thing is, when you are playing with a team like this, every tile will be doing some damage. So you saw all of those tiles that are hitting, what's her name here, hitting Sarah, were doing sort of mid-30s tile damage. So the tile damage wasn't great, but it was doing some to them. Now, I talked earlier about the tank. Their tank is this little maverick fella in the middle here. He is the tank because most of the tiles that I fire at the screen are going to hit him, because he kind of partially shields the yellow guy next to him. What's your name? I don't actually have this guy. Rex and Sarah. So they are partly shielded by him. The tiles will hit him first. Then you have your flanks, and lastly you have your wings. So the wings are Bridget here and Thalia here. Your flanks are Rex and Sarah, and your tank is Maverick. So those are the positions we sometimes talk about. Now I am going to use my skill, which is ready on ICO. So my special skill goes off //////, and then I can hit them again. I'm going to do this because oh no, I thought it did trigger a combo, not the combo I was intending. So you can see that, you know, the screen has been fairly kind to me. The ICO's got to go off again, which is quite nice. You can take your time with raids. They're quite a cerebral thing. You can sort of think, oh yeah, actually, rather than so I can really sort of stop here and look for what I think might be the best move. I mean, I'm probably not going to go for the move that's flashing. It's often not the best move, although I mean sometimes it can be. But so I'm going to slide this red tile up. This will trigger a small combo, but you can really take your time with raids. You don't need to rush too much. There is a time limit on them. It's something like 10 minutes. It's not particularly fast. You don't need to be particularly fast. So I can then target my next hero. So I may as well go for Rex, try and knock him down. Now here I'm just going to quickly demonstrate a bit of ghosting tiles. You'll see in the middle of the game between Rex here and Talia here, there's a big gap. Any tiles that I fire into there will generate more mana for my heroes. So you'll see Ico's mana will shoot up with those yellow tiles going into that space there. Boom, 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 boom. And that is that. So that one is a win. Now that isn't my normal approach with raids. I don't normally go with a rainbow team. So I'll talk about that a little bit more now, but that's one option, so it can work. But your tile damage is very low, so you become very reliant on your heroes' special skills. And if it takes a long time for them to go off, it can really be catastrophic. So yeah, no, that's my view. Anyway, this team is Fox Happy Hunting, level 34, so he's, well, in theory, he's got less experience than me. Built less experience on missions, but as you can see, he's got a couple of Hero of the Month. I think is this fella Hero of the Month? I think he is. I can't remember. What's his name? Who are you? Zidane. Privateer Bounty. I think he's a Hero of the Month. And Minamoto. He is definitely a Hero of the Month. So, you know, he's got some good heroes there. A lot of experience. He's obviously further up the leaderboard than me because he's in the top 100. 3376, so his team power is above mine. And that's my current team power. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to swap my team around. So I am going to take Urana out. Now this is a different strategy, or a slightly different strategy. This is 2-1-1-1. So I have swapped it, and I am color stacking against his tank. Now his tank is edge. Edge is obviously purple, so the strongest color against purple is yellow. So I've taken 2 yellows and then the other 3 colors. That gives me a slot. That means that my yellow tiles will do more damage, and they will do especially more damage against their tank, who is edge. And often you want to try and knock out the tank fairly quickly. Now, typically enough, the board is not looking amazing here for this. Here we go. So here is edge. Oh, that should help because I've obviously got a 5 in a row now. Now, if you watch this, I'll fire off my yellow tiles, and they were all doing about 150 odd damage to edge there. So rather than all of the tiles doing a fairly low amount of damage, all of the tiles are now doing a fairly substantial amount of damage. Sorry, all the yellow tiles. Now, purple tiles, meanwhile, if I hit anyone with these, you'll see it comes up with hero missing and 1 point. So I get very, very little damage from purple tiles. Now, oh, that wasn't the move I intended to do. There we are, never mind. So yeah, my purple tile damage has dropped considerably. Considerably, we don't have any purples. The downside with not taking a rainbow team is some of the tiles will not do much damage. But the plus side is that the ones that are on colour will do quite a chunk more. That's where it goes. That's the toss up really. Now I don't normally go 2-1-1. I do a 2-1-1-1-1-1. I do occasionally. It is not my sort of favourite lineup. I tend to do the next one, which I'll show you in a moment. Now, with all of these things, it's really important to note that whatever happens with me in the raids, it does not mean that it will be necessarily what works for you, or that whichever tactic I've chosen to follow will be the right. It can still come down to the screen, is what I'm trying to say. So that was 2-1-1-1-1, and you could see there that it didn't work out for me. Board did not give me that many yellows, so you know. Anyway, now what I would normally do, and what I'm going to do here, is I will take 3 yellows. Now this is my favourite personally, my favourite attack pattern is 3-1-1. So that's 3 strong. The 2 strong heroes I've gone for are Boomer and Thrasher. It leaves me without a healer, which can be a bit risky, but it's a risk I'm willing to take. So this is 3 yellows, and hopefully, as long as we get some, you'll see how much more damage they do to the tank, because knocking out the tank quickly can win you a raid. So here, I don't think I'm going to get to knock the tank out very quickly. Right, so if we just, this move hopefully will show you, watch the screen carefully. Here go the tiles, boom, 230 damage, 265 damage there. There we are. So he's that's killed off Edge really, really quickly, which is exactly what I wanted. You could see the amount of damage that those tiles were doing, and that is the beauty of color stacking your tiles, is you can finish off enemy heroes, particularly the tank. You can destroy the tank before they get the chance to use their special attack. If you haven't color stacked, the chances are you won't kill the tank before their special skill is off. In my general experience, it can happen. I think it did when I was doing the Rainbow Raid earlier on, but it is unusual. You're better off, I find, being stacked against them, because in my experience, quite often whoever gets the first kill in a raid will go on to win it. Not always, but it can be quite a factor. Just something to consider there. Now, I don't think I can stop. Oh no, this will kill Minamoto. Yeah, down he goes. This guy, what's his name? Hollow Point. Hollow Point will probably, by and large, kill himself, because he will now go off and drill himself full of holes, and hopefully this move should, nope, not quite finishing him off. Just trying to get the last move in here. Now you can see the screen now is not as good as it was at the start, but it shouldn't matter now because I've got the edge over the last hero left. So that was 3-1-1, a 3-1-1 tactic. So that worked for me. Let's see who we get next. Now my next opponent. Now this player, because they've only got 20, I only stand to make 29 trophies if I beat them. I'm going to re-roll. I prefer to because I'm trying to climb up the ladder rather than sort of risk dropping down it further, I may as well play somebody who's going to earn me more points. So this hit girl from the Quebec Elite team, I would get 40 trophies if I win and only lose 21 if I lose. So the odds are slightly in my favour. So that's what I'm going to go for. Now these guys, I'm going to swap it up again. I'm going to keep in my Thrasher, but I'm going to swap out Boomer. I'm keeping Thrasher in because he's a general booster. So this is going 4 and 1. I don't normally play this. 4 and 1 is far more, you have to have a good board, but if you get a good board, you can beat anyone, more or less. So this is when you're really trying to hit a team which is above your weight kind of thing, when you go for 4. If you get enough yellows on the screen, you'll be laughing. If you don't get the yellows, it will be very, very, very tricky. So I'm going to just try. That was a risky move, which didn't really get me anywhere. So watch the yellow tiles hitting Rana now. So boom, each yellow tile doing about 300 damage from the word go, and you can see she died very, very quickly there. I can do an attack boost here, which should help. Boosts everybody's attacks, lowers theirs. Surprisingly good skill for a 3-star, that one. Who's this? Famka's skill there. It's not going too badly. Reasonable number of yellows on the screen. Now you see most of the other tiles are doing absolutely nothing, which is the big downside of the 4 and 1 strategy. But the yellow tiles do a fairly substantial amount of damage to everyone they hit, and especially obviously anybody who's purple, which was in this case the tank. Who was the tank? Was it Rana? It was Rana, wasn't it? But you'll see this tile does that hits Maverick 150, so still a reasonable amount of damage even to a hero who isn't the opposite colour. But as I say, to me, it's quite a risky strategy. It also doesn't help is that at the moment I just don't have heroes of the kind of strength that is comparable. You know, I end up taking 3 stars, whereas I would much prefer to be taking 4 stars who are more leveled up. So that's kind of where I am at the moment. It is an option, but it's very, very much commitment. And the last one, of course, if you are going down this route, as you may have guessed from the way I was going, is to go monochrome, one color. Very, very risky, very poor returns. Well, in my experience, it can be a bit more effective once you get to that point that you have like lots of 4 and 5-star yellows or reds or whichever color you're going for. But you do need to, at the moment, because I'm taking 3 3-stars, it means that my team is very squishy and will die very quickly. Unless the board is amazing, because if the board is absolutely amazing, it'll just roll right over them because each tile will do a ton of damage. So you're very much dependent, almost entirely dependent on tile damage. Now, this is what I mean about the sort of the balancing act. So if you want yellow tiles that are going to hit Rana, boom, 360-ish, 350, a couple of them. So they do a lot of, excuse me, a lot of damage to Rana. If you watch here, you'll see these ones are going to be 2 hit Rana and 1 hit Maverick. Now, the 2 that hit Rana, we know what they're going to do. The one that hits Maverick did about 170. So that's a lot of damage for 1 tile. So the tile damage is now pretty high across the board. The downside, though, is that only my yellow tiles are doing anything. All the rest of the tiles are doing nothing. Now, I've ghosted a load of tiles there, which means that all of my heroes get their mana ready in more or less one go, which is quite nice. We can do a little bit of sort of skill. Oh, that wasn't very clever. I should have done the booster first. Never mind. Might get a critical hit if I'm lucky here. 282, 278. So you can see, yeah, they've done a fair amount. It's still, even now, the screen, you know, there we are. That's done absolutely no damage to their ICO. To me, this is a risky one. It does make a little bit more sense once your heroes get stronger, because you've got a little bit more oomph in them. but it is very much an all or nothing to go for single color attack team. Some players do it, some players get away with it a lot. It just doesn't suit me. Like I say, I like to go for 3-1-1, which I think is a sort of reasonable balance to get you to the score, to where you want to be. So you sort of got a bit of a flavour there of the differences, the different sort of routes you can go to attack. Those are the sort of 5. Well, they're the only 5 options really. Well, actually, no, I do tell a lie, of course. I went like, so what you can do is like 3 and 2. So let's say so here we are, we got a team. Instead of going 3 blues and 2 different colors, I could go 3 blues. I would almost certainly go with 3 blues, and then I could probably with like 2 greens. So like that. So you can do 3 and 2 or 2 and 3, or so you can. There are other options, but realistically, most of the time I find most people send me 3-1-1 or occasionally 3-2 more on challenge events. So it's just about the layout of your team. I can't remember what colour these guys are who I'm fighting have got. They to me have made a mistake because they put 2 reds next to each other with the tanks. So the blue tiles, as you saw, the blue tiles do more damage, and now they're going to do more damage to both those 2 heroes that are in the middle, which to me is a good thing, but not a good thing for them. Because Rana's good. I'm gonna actually. I prefer snipers to hit all heroes, generally speaking, but doesn't always follow. Because I would have then had a Hollow Point and Boomer who do very similar things. So this will be my last raid because I'm not going to use a raid flash today. Let's see how this goes. As I say, this video, hopefully there's something vaguely informative to everyone there. Really, you want to sort of try it and see what works for you, where you end up, what you're happy with, what you think works, what you think doesn't, what you doesn't do well. Like I say, I normally go 3-1-1. Some people I know don't like it for different reasons. Some people prefer to go for like monochrome, which is very, like I say, very much all or nothing. Some people prefer to go with a rainbow team and rely on special skills, which, all of these options, everyone can work. I mean, it's one of the beauties of the game is that you can win in more than one way. So I'm not sort of saying you've got to go with it, but it's just to give you a few ideas of the options when it comes to raiding. And as I sort of was mentioning at the start, who to raid, what to go for, and so on and so forth. Now, you may find when you're doing raiding, you come across 1 or 2 heroes you learn to particularly dislike raiding because they're particularly powerful or whatever. I'm never a big fan of raiding the Wild West hero called Wyatt, the healer. I find him annoying. He has a real habit of keeping everybody on the enemy team alive from his healing, which comes quite quick, and then he helps boost their mana generation and everything else. So we all do have heroes we love to hate and so on and so forth. So you can always re-roll to avoid them. But the main reason I re-roll is to always try and get as many trophies out of my attacks as I can. Now I'm going to so again, just like if you were doing a special mission or whatever, you target your special hero attacks to be as useful as they can be, really. You want to be hitting the right heroes with them. It's very beneficial. And sometimes, you want to look at whether the enemy's hero's special skills are about to go off, or whether you're better off leaving it a turn. And those kind of sort of closer, more tactics than strategy. This video, I guess, is really more about strategy than tactics. Tactics do vary, of course, from hero to hero as well. And because I don't have every hero in the game, it's kind of hard to comment on every hero. I know that Ryoko here is meant to be a very good hero, or was. I don't know if they've nerfed her completely. She was a very good hero. Whether she still is or not, I haven't had a chance to check. It looks like she is because she puts the extra critical chance in, which is a really nice special skill. I don't have Ryoko, so I can't sort of demonstrate her use. I do have most of the rest of them on the team I think we faced. And there we go. Boom. Hooray! Woo! So that was 3-1-1, which, as I say, is like my most favourite attack pattern. But the other ones all could have worked. It just depends what you get. So you just sort of want to explore it a little bit, see what works for you, see what doesn't. Anyway, I hope that there was something helpful in this. I do get told sometimes my videos are not very helpful, which is fine. I don't take it personally. But it is difficult to know what everybody wants, and what's useful for one person won't be useful for others. So I hope there was something in there to help people out. The aim, really, as I say, is just to sort of give you an overview of raid strategies, not tactics so much. Tactics is more about the movement of the board and the hero's special skills and things like that. This was more about the sort of how to approach raiding. So I hope there was something in there useful. It just remains for me to say, remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, share with your enemies. Just make sure you share the videos and so on and so forth. It remains for me to say thank you for watching. May death come swiftly to your enemies. This is Farmer Ben saying good night and au revoir. Au revoir.